Well, hey there, it's Brent Adams for Rural Strong Live. Thank you for joining us tonight. And one of my favorite things to do is bring in the people I really enjoy and care about here to spend a little quality time talking. And what better thing to do at the holidays here than to just kind of catch up and find out what's going on here. And tonight, I wanted to welcome in one of my favorite honky-tonkers, Mr. Scott Southworth. Scott, how you doing, man?
Yay! Oh, should I not be clapping for myself?
No, if you don't, who might?
If I don't, who will? If I don't, who will? Hello, Brent. Merry Christmas, my friend.
And Merry Christmas to you. It's been too long, man.
It has been. Where you been?
I have been right here where you're seeing me right now, nose to the grindstone here, trying to make some things happen. So
You have been so busy. I'm just so proud for you. You've been working. You've been working it at all ends and just keeping it cruising, man.
well, we're just trying to put all these pieces together here and just kind of unify what's out there in terms of independent artists and trying to get this music out to as many people as we can here. And I'm encouraged by the number of upstart internet DJs and other folks, promoters, and folks around the country who are out there kind of joining that battle here, trying to get that music out to folks because there's just a ton of great music out there. It's just we got to get it into the ear holes of the people here. So
Well, and this year has been. I mean, what a year for indie music. I'm kicking myself for putting an album out this year because there was so much great stuff. Brennan Lee's album, Ain't Done Honky-Tonkin' Yet. I think Ain't Through Honky-Tonk. Have you heard that CD?
I have not. That's on my to-do list though.
It's amazing. Dallas Moore's No God in Juarez.
Yep.
Jesse Daniel released a live album. Charlie Crockett released a new album.
All right.
It's just so much. Yeah, it's been incredible.
But the good thing about that is too, I mean, those are meaningful albums you're talking about with some great storytelling and some substance to them.
Oh yeah. And then you got Hannah Dasher.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen her album, but hey, she's such an entertainer. But it's just been a heck of a year. Just as someone who's just a fan of this kind of music, I've been eating it up. And next year's looking good too. I just saw that Sarah Gale Meach has an album that's coming out probably in Q1.
Uh-huh.
It just keeps coming, man. We're in just a very rich era, even though like you were saying, even though your corporate radio isn't necessarily supporting it.
Right.
Boy, it doesn't matter because it's just incredible the quality of the music coming out right now for those people that love traditional country, honky tonk, and all of that. It's out there in spades.
Right. And we hang our hat on that all the time. And I got to watch the line I walk here because we do have some interest with corporate radio too. And that's fine. They can have their thing. But I would submit that if you love some of the music that you mentioned there, it's never been more accessible. You just have to know where to find it. And that's where I feel like it's incumbent upon us to keep beating that drum and helping people connect those dots so they can find it because what you're putting out there is pretty phenomenal here. So we want to keep doing that.
Sure. And I corporate radio has no interest in me, so I don't have to be careful. But I will say I don't have any issue with what corporate radio is doing. I mean, they have a whole different demographic, right? They're pointing to the kids.
Right.
Whereas you got all these people that are making grown-up music.
Right.
And music for the farmers, for the working people, and there's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with what corporate radio is always aimed for the youth, and that's okay. Right. But even in that realm, you have some great new music out that's really pushing. I just heard, and I'm sorry, I'll let you. I don't mean to be hijacking this.
No,
but
go ahead.
I just heard a new song from Haley Witters, who's more of a mainstream artist, and man, it was something like he's in his Chevy and I'm in love, and it's stone cold country. It's a great song, and she has such a great presentation. So, I'm so energized and optimistic about the state of country music. No matter what the corporate direction is, real country music is going to keep coming at you. Can't help.
Absolutely. Well, earlier this week you played at Nashville's legendary Bluebird Cafe, and now you're here. So I'd say that you pretty much reached your Mount Everest pinnacle here.
It's all downhill from here, Brent. And so here's to downhill from here. Might be a song, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I do 3 or 4 Bluebird rounds a year, and it's always a fun way to end the year. It's kind of, that was my last public show for the year, and that's always a nice way to end it, because that the audience in that little room is so tuned in and so present and in the moment there. So it's a great place to play. As someone who's out there trying to get people to hear his songs or her songs, there's nowhere better than the Bluebird Cafe.
Right. Well, this has been quite a year for you. If you could put it into perspective, what has this year meant to you both personally and professionally?
Good question.
We're hitting you with the hard ones right off the bat, and then
right. Personally, it's just been a very, very positive year. It's I've had a couple of great trips with my wife, and had my daughter came and hung out with us for a couple months. So she was moving from one adventure to the next, so we got to have her around. So it's just been, we got a new puppy, which I'm going to announce on your show is the last puppy I will ever own. I'm too old for puppies now. She's wearing me out, but from now on we'll just go rescue old dogs and give them a good home. But my goodness, but it's there's just been a lot going on family wise, and then with music, releasing the video of Granny Used to Honky-Tonk, and then the album Coming Around to Honky-Tonk Again, and then the new Christmas single. It's been a very, very busy year. There's been a lot of good things going on, and I'm just, I don't know what to say. I kind of approach all this with a huge amount of gratitude, at the stage of life that I'm in, to have people interested in hearing the music that I'm playing and wanting to support it. It just means the world to me.
Well, when we were talking a few years ago, you were just kind of starting to feel out your way here as a singer songwriter, and branch out a little bit. As we kind of wrap up this year and look to next year, you got a few years under your belt now. Tell me about that journey. What does it look like, and how has it evolved for you?
It's been amazing. I mean, because you're right, the whole indie artist thing didn't even start till after I turned 50. Mm-hmm. And so to have the adventures I've had over the last 7 years, and the touring across Europe and across the US, it's always been way beyond what I could have ever imagined. So I just kind of look at it all as, my gosh, what a ride it's been. And we're not done. We're heading to New Zealand in February for 3 weeks, headlining a festival, and then doing some touring, taking my daughter with me. We're going to go check out Hobbiton and all the Lord of the Rings landmarks. And so it's crazy to think that music, deciding at 50 years old that, forget it, I'm just going to record what I want. I'm going to record what touches me and the music that I love. And to find out that that other people enjoyed that, and have allowed me to travel all over the place and take my family to places. It's been incredible. Just full of gratitude, man. Full of gratitude.
One of the things you've done really well over the course of your time as a singer and songwriter is collaborate with other really creative and talented folks here. And we're going to talk about a couple of those collaborations tonight. The first one you mentioned a little earlier, I want to talk about, is this collaboration with old Uncle Dallas Moore. How'd that pairing come about?
Man, I've been such a fan of his for years. And he was a staple at the Frank Brown Festival, and I played at the Frank Brown Festival for many years. So I just finally just got to catch one of his shows, and just went up and talked to him, and we just immediately clicked, and just started, anytime we'd see each other, we just play a little music. He'd get me up on stage, and we'd have a good time. So I did reach out to him one time and said, man, I got this idea for a song called Granny Used to Honky-Tonk. And I kind of told him where I was going with it. And he goes, man, I love that. I said, well, I'd like to write it with you. And he goes, let's do it. But, Uncle Dallas plays like 316 shows a year. So we did it all over the phone, just back and forth. And finally got it where we wanted it. And I said, man, I love it. How would you like to record it as a duet? And to Dallas's credit, because this means a lot to me, because he has a much larger fan base. Doing a duet with me, I don't know that it does him any real good, other than he really loved the song. But he's like, yes. So we recorded it as a duet. And then I said, man, what a great song. Let's make a music video. And he's like, yeah, okay. So just the fact that he's so open to say, yeah, let's do it. It's a quality song and everything. And the video turned out great. It's I don't know that I've ever had a video that's had that kind of response that this one has had, but it's been very positive. I'm very thrilled.
Well, how about we share it with the people now?
Let's do it.
All right. This is Granny Used to Honky-Tonk.
Go, Granny, go.
That's what I am. I'm country. Yeah, I'm country. Yeah, I'm leaving.
Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Papa liked the whiskey and threw a little dice. Aunt Louita did it, Uncle Buddy too. Had a ball last call, howling at the moon. We carry the tradition, our family taught us right. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Mama loved the dance and shake it left and shake it right. She flashed a little leg and drive the fellas wild. Daddy had a hot rod Chevy 63, run rubber through the town until he wrapped it around a tree. He hung out with the rowdies, they cuss and smoke and fight. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Now she's knitting mittens and baking berry pie, but they said she was a real firecracker in her time. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. That ain't been done before. Since way back when some good old boys threw sawdust on the floor. Our family trees are growing underneath the neon light. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Saturday tailgating party with the fam. Got dogs and burgers cooking, cold beer in a can. Sunday morning finds us all singing with the choir, sitting in the front pew catching hellfire. The Bible told me Jesus turned the water into wine. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Now she's knitting mittens and baking cherry pie, but they say she was a real firecracker in her time. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Now she's knitting mittens and baking apple pie, but they say she was a real firecracker in her time. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night. Granny used to honky-tonk every Friday night.
Oh yeah, good stuff, man.
Yeah, man, good old Dallas. I love Sherry's comment here that said I'd edit the first part out.
We appreciate we appreciate the constructive criticism. We'll take that under advisement next time we play it.
We will take that under advisement. But you know, the thing about that, Sherry, is that fella that plays the bro country rapper has been in most of my videos, and he was my co-host back in my old radio days. But he's been in Break My Honky-Tonk Heart. I dressed him up in a big heart costume, and he got beat up by a bunch of beautiful women in a boxing ring. And in Whiskey Bottle, he was a 6 foot tall whiskey bottle in a drunk man's imagination. And so I've always used him in the goofiest ways possible because he's such a good sport for starters. But he's also just a lot of fun to hang out with.
Well, I love the artistry behind and the kind of creativity behind letting that go on uncomfortably long at the beginning of the video, because I mean, that is kind of, in a nutshell, speaks to, people who don't like that kind of music or like that style. That's what it feels like to them. So that to me, that was perfect. But
well, good.
Different strokes for different folks.
That's right. That's right.
And with that, we move on here. Hey, I see David D'Souza is on here. Say hey to David. Also, Marlene Connor's on here. I got my mom on here, so that's good. She's checking. Hey,
Brent's mama.
Yeah. So good stuff there. Another guy you've built a kinship with is a guy we've had here on the show, but it's been a while here. Your Flaming Tortuga Records label mate, Daryl Wayne Dasher. Good dude here.
Dasher. He just released a brand new Christmas song too. Whoa, look at those two fellas. Man, oh man, how did you get that picture? That's where did you get that? You got to send me that picture. That's good looking.
Will do. My crack research staff goes to the ends of the earth to unearth these things here. And
look at that. Wow, I tell you what, those are some good looking fellas there with Kanji in Memphis. We were just there a few weeks ago and had a big old time in Memphis. But Daryl just released a brand new Christmas single as well that I'm happy to plug since I wrote it with him. It's called Buckaroo Christmas Eve, and it's a great, great song. Even in spite of me being part of writing it, I can say it's still a great song. We really wanted to capture what it might have been like for those cowhands who were working during Christmas, and so in the 1800s. So we did a lot of research, and then it turned out that we found out that there actually is a place called Bethlehem, Texas. So that just kind of wrote the song. It's, Buckaroo Christmas Eve in Bethlehem, Texas.
Well, I feel like now we need to go back in. We just released yesterday the Tractors and Troubadours Christmas program for this year, and I was unaware of that song. And we may have to
I'm gonna
reprise the whole thing.
I will have a serious talking to with the Flaming Tortuga Records marketing staff.
Yeah,
Clearly they're falling down on the job if Brent doesn't know about Buckaroo Christmas Eve.
Somehow they don't have my email address. We'll have to get on that listserv. But I guess we've got the first song for the 2024 edition.
There you go. There you go.
And we'll find some way to work it in here. I promise, because I love Daryl. I think he's a good dude. And
so talented.
I'm so excited for all the success he's having here. I mentioned in the promo for this show that you made some really incredible inroads taking your music outside of the United States. And of course, you mentioned we got more of that coming up here in the new year. Tell us a bit about what that looks like these days, because you've had a lot of success playing in front of these European audiences.
Yeah, it's I don't know what to say about it. It's been amazing. It was all very, very unexpected. But once we realized that there were ears out there that wanted to hear the type of stuff that I do all over the place, we've just been out playing for them, and it's been so much fun. I've made so many wonderful friends, both artists and just music lovers, and with technology now, it's crazy. We can do. Like I'll do probably Thursday. I think we have a Facebook. You can do the Facebook video calls, and so we can do that with some friends of mine in England, and we can. And it's just like they're sitting right next to you. We're in this amazing time of technology. Sorry, that's what happens when you have 3 dogs. Hold on. Hey, I'm in an interview. She doesn't care. I'm sorry. She does not respect Brent Adams, and she should. I'll have a stern talking to her later. But no, man, it's great. It's amazing, and the audiences over there are so engaged, and they want to hear it, and they want to they know the songs. They know who played on the songs. It's strange, to go into other countries and have people that don't speak English singing your songs back to you. It's nuts. I love it.
Well, as you mentioned, you made some of those connections, and you parlayed them on this new album with the song Country No Matter What Country.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, that's a song I wrote with Bill White, who's been around forever and ever out of Missouri and Cincinnati, and he's been all over the place as he was a radio DJ at WSM for many years, and a great songwriter. He's known for his funny songs, and so he came to me and said, people only come to me about funny songs. I said, well, let's write songs that aren't funny. And so we have a couple of songs together that we've written that I'm real proud of, but this one, he came to me with this after he saw the traveling I was doing, and he said, man, you gotta do something with this. So after we wrote it, I just really, really kind of worked it back and forth in my head, and finally said, well, I've met all of these great indie artists all over, so Switzerland, Spain, Ireland, Norway, France, England. And so it was just a matter of getting them all together and saying, let's all work on this tune together. And so everybody got the same amount of lines, and we recorded it. And someday there will be a music video to this. But this song, it took me longer to record than any other song I've ever done, because you talk about herding cats,
right?
With one other artist, much less 6 other artists from 6 different countries. So it's been a lot, and the video has been just as daunting. So eventually I will get all the video portions from everybody, and we're going to do a great music video for this as well. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I think the pooch in the background is saying we ought to play this one for the people. So
Maybell, come here. You're making me crazy. This is live. Anyway. All right. I think the missus just got home, so they might get quiet now.
They know it's good for them, right?
All right.
All right. Well, we'll play this one here from the pen of Scott Southworth and my fellow Cincinnati Reds fan, Bill White. This is Country No Matter What.
No matter where you are, when you hear a steel guitar, it might make you cry and hit you deep inside.
When the bow hits the fiddle, you tap your toes just a little.
If there's a neon glow and the beer's as cold,
That's country. You can bet your boots
all around the world. It's three chords and the truth. When you hear Hank sing about that misery again,
That's country, no matter what country you're in.
It's the opera show playing on the radio.
It's a pull that gate, hanging on for 8.
when you're bending on the telly and that rhythm's rocking steady, just like a midnight train. Can you hear that swing?
That's country. You can bet your boots
All around the world, oh, it's three chords and the truth.
George and Tammy sing about that tiny golden ring.
That's country, no matter what country you're in. When all the plane on the road again,
On the road again.
that's country, no matter what country you're in.
I tell you that's country, no matter what country you're in.
Well, I hear some fiddles and steel in there, so that passes my test.
Yeah, man, that was so much fun. So that was 6. What do we have here? We had Norway, France, Ireland, England, Switzerland, and I'm forgetting one. France, and then me. So that's 7 indie artists from 7 different countries, all taking part in this song. And I'm just thrilled that they all wanted to do it with me, and that it all turned out the way it did.
Truly uniting the world through music.
That's right. Wow. Yes.
And I see on here, David D'Souza says, I, for one, play your music here in Australia. And I sent your music to a friend of mine in India who plays your music on the radio as well. So
God bless you, David. I appreciate you. And, I'm going to be in New Zealand. Maybe you need to take that little puddle jumper over to New Zealand and come to the Taranaki Songwriter Country Music Festival in February. We'd love to see you there.
Phenomenal. That would be a good time. And I see my buddy Billy Bowles is on here saying he was honored to world radio premiere country, no matter what country. So good to see Billy on here tonight.
He did that. And he also world radio premiered both my new Christmas single and Daryl Wayne Dasher's Christmas single.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah. He is the king of the world radio premiere.
Speaking of Christmas, it's that time of year, so I thought I'd get in the spirit for y'all.
I love it. Well, you know what? Christmas is often a time of reminiscing. And, I remember sometimes as a kid, we'd go to grandma's house and pull out old photo albums and, just kind of talk about things. This was the day before Facebook and everybody splashed everything on TikTok where all you had was photo albums, Yeah. So as I was going through things today in the spirit of reminiscing, to prepare for this show, I came across some stuff that really just kind of warmed the cockles of my heart here. So I want to take you back here to a couple of things that made me smile this week, Scott. So I'm going to start out with October 11th, 2016. The scene was Centennial Park in Nashville for the VetLinks Vet Fest event to commemorate the 35th anniversary of the big show that they did in 1981 to honor Vietnam veterans coming home. And this 2016 event was also a salute to military veterans and their families. I remember it being a gorgeous day, and the park adjacent to the Parthenon was just bustling with activity. And among the many performers that day was one Mr. Scott Southworth here. And what you're seeing here is our good friend Faye Baldwin giving him a birthday cake on that day.
Wow. I've never seen this picture. This is
do you remember what happens next?
I don't. What happened?
Hold on to your hats, folks.
She didn't smash it in my face, did she?
Well, I think you did more of the smashing yourself. Oh. Much to the surprise of Faye.
That's fantastic. Look at that. What a horrible picture.
I was glad to have unearthed that today. That was
you got to send those to me. I didn't remember that at all. That's really cool.
I definitely will. Then I will forward to April 2019, about a year before the whole country went bonkers here and went into lockdown. We did a nice little set at the Ernest Tubb Record Shop.
Yes, we did.
At the back of the record shop for a previous show that I did here where we did a Q&A and you graced us with a little acoustic performance, accompanied by our friend Mark Levy here, the lovely and talented Mark Levy.
Yeah, man. What a great picker he is. I'm so happy that he and I have become friends, and he's been in a lot of videos of mine, and more importantly, traveled around with me and played music with me all over the U.S. And look at that handsome guy in the blue plaid shirt. Look at that fella.
How about that? What a day that was. That was just
a fun day. That was a lot of fun. Wow. Oh, you got pictures? I don't have these pictures. What? I thought we were friends, Brent. How come you're not sharing these things?
Well, actually, you do have some of them because I jacked some of them off your Facebook.
Oh, did you? Well, see, this is why, as someone who has the worst memory in the world, I shouldn't say things like that. Because
here's another fun one. Here you are with Taylor Lynn, the granddaughter of the great coal miner's daughter, Loretta Lynn, and
I am such a fan of hers, and I was trying to get her to sing a duet with me, but as you know, she's very she does her thing with the Twitty's son, and
it's really taken off.
Yeah, it's really taken off for her. But what a great talent she is, and just a real good person who's been through a lot. And I really love watching her journey. She's a great talent, and I think the world of her.
She came in right after you for another interview with her sons True and Scout there, who begged to get off school that day so they could come in and terrorize the record shop.
Yeah, and they're all big boys now.
Right, man. When I see those pictures, They are they are pretty incredible. And then this is one that really made me smile. I
Yeah.
had to dig a little bit to find this one here, man. What did it feel like to see your CDs there in the crates among Red Sovine and Cal Smith and Carl Smith and
You
so many?
know, and just the fact that I had my own little divider.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll tell you a little story about that. When that record store went away,
Mm.
I went and I got that divider.
I was just gonna ask.
I have that divider, and guess who was on the back end of that divider? Who they had recycled it? I'm not going to make you guess. Garth Brooks.
Okay. See,
It
I was
used to
gonna
be
get.
Garth Brooks's divider. So it that was a cool thing. That was a very cool thing that I was able to, right when they were closed, and I went in and I said, man, I'd love to have my divider. And they were real sweet and let me have it.
And the old Ernest Tubb Record Shop, God rest its soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's another fun one. This was the bottom half of that first picture we showed here, and I put that there for a reason, man. You know, when you think about putting your boots on that rough-hewn, creaky
Yep.
floor, think about Hank Williams, Ernest Tubb, Johnny Cash, Elvis, George Jones, all the boots
Patsy
that
Cline,
travel.
Willie Nelson. I
God,
mean, come on.
uh,
That's special.
just to think about that is unreal. So,
And that wouldn't have happened without you. So I thank you very much for you invite me for the chance to grace that stage and have that experience in that moment. Thank you.
yeah, well, you're welcome. I tell you, I sure wish we could go back to it here because, man, I'm missing doing shows there, and who knows what the future holds. You know, we've had Dale Tubb on here in the past year, and I know that they're working to try to get something together. I hope we can get an update in the new year that will be positive there. I mean, that's such a changing stretch of Broadway there. It's hard to know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but we're talking to Dale too, and I'm hoping that in 2024 there's a midnight jamboree performance or two as well for this old hillbilly singer. So
I thought you say they're going to open up a Scott Southworth bar on Broadway.
oh gosh, no. I think there's a porta potty I'm going to open in one of the alleys, the Scott Southworth porta potty. That'll be my claim to fame. That's about it, man.
Well, everybody's got to start somewhere.
That's right.
And I've told you this before, but I've said it on my shows here. But your magnificent show, the Music Row Show, which you did with Hino, that you talked about here a little bit earlier, man, such a huge inspiration for me doing what I do here. And
Thank you.
such a who's who of songwriters. And I used to listen to that, hang on every word. And, it's funny how some things stick with you, because one show that I remember in particular was the show that you did with the great Carl Jackson, who won Grammys, played with Jim and Jesse McReynolds, and then went on to spend 12 years playing with Glenn Campbell. And I guess you had him on right toward the end of your run when they released the legendary Bristol Sessions album, which many of those songs you can hear on Rural Strong Radio. We play them all the time because they are magnificent songs. But man, just listening to that program that night, driving back from Nashville, I believe we had been at the CMA Fest or something, and coming back and listening to Carl and those stories. Man, just to be able not only to be able to preserve the music, but be able to preserve the stories and the lore behind this stuff. It's stuff we can't lose.
And it's funny you say that, because I was just talking to somebody last week about how we have thousands of hours of the Music Row Show that are just sitting in a vault somewhere, and by vault I mean probably in Hino's closet. So that's something that at some point, in this age of podcasts, we really should put out there, because there are moments that with Jim Ed and Ralph Stanley and just people that aren't with us anymore that were just great. Little Richard, some of these great interviews that I was privileged to be a part of, that I'd love to get back out there and let people enjoy them, because that was a real special period of time for me, and I'm grateful for it. And I love the memories. I'm happy I'm not doing it anymore too. I mean, I did it for 10 years. That was plenty of time. I was ready to go on to some other adventure, but that's just me. That's how I am. But the I do have great memories from those interviews.
Well, if they ever need to see
Mac
live,
Davis, my gosh, Mac Davis.
if ever you need a home for them, there'll always be a home around here, because those things were such an inspiration to me as I was kind of shaping what this would look like in the future here. So
Yeah.
I only hope that we can somewhat do it justice.
Cool, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, we mentioned earlier in the show here that you got the amazing song out there right now for the Christmas season, Wooden Sheriff's Gun, which was co-written by another super talented guy, Frank Rishi. Tell us a bit about the concept for this song.
Man, Frank and I started writing together when he was 19 and I was pushing 40, and we had nothing in common. But every time we get together, we'd write a song. Just boom, it would just come out of us. So, yeah, and as a writer, that doesn't happen all the time. You know, a lot of co-writing sessions turn into co-staring sessions where you just look at each other. But for some reason, he and I would always just click. And I don't remember if he came to me or if I came to him with the idea of, I'd love a Christmas song that wasn't super schmaltzy, and talked about Christmas in the 1800s. You know, because Santa Claus started becoming a thing in the 1800s in America, and so I wanted to write this sprawling fable, if you will. And so we wrote it probably 15, 17 years ago, and we tried to record it then, and we couldn't get our arms around it. And I think a lot of it was we were fighting with trying to make it shorter, because, you know, that's the world we live in. You want your songs to be 2 or 3 minutes. But after a while it was like, no, there's not a word of this we can cut out. It's a story song.
Right.
And so I think probably 3 years ago, I called up Frank and said, man, I think we need to record this with just your sisters, with Lily Mae Rishi on fiddle and singing, and Scarlett on the mandolin. And I said, who should we work with to record that? And they referred me to Misa Arriaga, who has become a friend and is a very, very talented producer and musician. And we got together right around this time, about 3 years ago, and recorded it. And the song itself has been sitting for 3 years now, because I was waiting to find a way to animate the music video. And just this year, with, oddly enough, the thing that I'm the most frightened of and I rail against is AI. But using AI technology, we made this animated music video for the Wooden Sheriff's Gun. And so I'm really proud of how it turned out. I just called the fellow that I worked with on that today and just thanked him again and said what a great job he did, because it's hard to wrangle AI. AI has its own ideas, and quite often its ideas are based on what it's done before.
Right.
And so quite often what its idea is large-breasted, hardly dressed women. And that did not fit Wooden Sheriff's Gun. So he worked very hard to keep that out of there. And the first several versions had that, unfortunately, in there. So bless his heart that he just kept fighting AI and finally made something that I'm proud to show. And I think kids will enjoy it. And it's just an Old West Christmas song that doesn't necessarily, you know, not everything turns out the way you want it to, but that's life, right?
Yes, and what you came up with is a masterpiece, condensed into 5 minutes and 52 seconds. But what I see here playing out, and forgive me, I don't know much about anything, but this thing seems like it could have a life as a movie.
It's funny you say that, because probably about 5 years ago, it was turned into a screenplay for a TV show in LA. And nothing ever happened to it. I mean, screenplays come and go. But just the fact that somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to see if I can work on this." And I said, "Well, be my guest." And I have the screenplay. It's just cool. That's the great thing about creative work is you know, the fact that somebody else can take it and do something else with it, and how other people interpret it is something that maybe when you're first into this as a creator, you get a little butt hurt if it isn't exactly what you want it to look like. But as you get older, it's like, wow, this is someone else thought enough about this to try to do something with it. Right. And so again, if you're not catching this, the theme to everything I do is gratitude. Right. And so I'm grateful that anybody listens to it, much less wants to do something else with it. So that's nice of you to say. And I do have a screenplay somewhere in my email inbox that'll never get out. But then we have this great little music video to share with people.
Well, who knows? I may have a few extra minutes in my my day. We'll talk later about that, because I think that needs to see the light of day. In the meantime,
yes,
you've got a masterpiece together here, and we're going to share it for you now. This is Wooden Sheriff's Gun.
He was a lawman from Texas, and he always got his man. The year was 1883, snow was falling Christmas Eve, and the trail was closing in. He knew he'd find his runner in that patch of trees, probably scared to death and just about to freeze. But I came out hands up in the air with a grin from ear to ear, and I was holding a wooden sheriff's gun. Yeah, I was holding a wooden sheriff's gun. I said, I'm sorry for the goose chase. I couldn't go to jail until I got this done. And I know you've heard it all before, sir, but could you please take this to my son? He's a good boy, the only thing I've done right, and he still believes in magic comes on Christmas night. And when he wrote to Sandy Claus, the only thing that he asked for was a wooden sheriff's gun. Was a wooden sheriff's gun. Silent night, holy night, that lawman had me dead to rights. But he said it's a 2-day ride back to jail. Maybe we could stop and you could give it to the boy yourself on the way. Well, my wife burst into tears when I walked through that door, and that little boy jumped right into my arms. I introduced the lawman to my family. He said, pleased to meet you, but we can't stay long. My wife said, you both look half frozen from the cold, and I left Christmas dinner on the table for you know. And that little boy ran all around with a grin from ear to ear when I handed him his wooden sheriff's gun. When I handed him that wooden sheriff's gun. Silent night, holy night, that lawman dead to ride. But he sat down at our table and broke bread. When he offered to say grace, well, we all bowed down our head, said a prayer. Our bellies full, boots were dry. It's time to hit the trail. I saddled up my horse for one last ride. My wife packed some food, held me tight, not wanting to let go. The lawman looked my son right in the eyes. He said, we'll be gone for a while, me and your dad. And we still got a lot of bad guys left to catch. And then he pulled the star right off his vest and he gave it to my son. You need a badge to draw a wooden sheriff's gun. Boy, you need a badge to draw a wooden sheriff's gun. Silent night, holy night, that lawman had me dead to rights. When he locked me up, I proudly shook his hand, 'cause he gave me one more night to be a dad and a hero to my son, with a wooden sheriff's gun. Silent night, holy night.
And we're going to start putting out the calls to Sam Elliott and Barry Corbin and all those guys now here. We need to get that done.
All right. Hey, you know something that I do want to say on that one. That's the first song I've recorded in years where I'm actually playing guitar on that track. Frank's doing the heavy lifting on the guitar work, but I'm actually doing the finger picking on that, and that was unexpected. I wasn't planning on doing that, but Misa, the producer, was like, "No, you gotta play that. That needs to be running through the whole song." So it was kind of a cool thing for me.
Got to stretch you a little bit, huh?
Well, I mean, come on, you're in a town full of the greatest guitar pickers in the world. If I'm around anybody else, I leave my guitar at home.
Well, shout out to Larrabee Guitars there for
Absolutely.
a beautiful sound there. Well, I'll tell you what, as we look ahead to the promise of a new year, besides headed to New Zealand, what's on the agenda here for 2024?
Well, we have the New Zealand tour. I think that might be my only overseas this coming year. I'm going to be releasing an EP that's a hillbilly trop rock CD. You know, you've heard my CDs. There's every now and then there's little songs in there that are more Jimmy Buffett-y.
Yeah. Did I see you hanging out with Kirsty Krause here recently?
Oh, her and I actually tomorrow we're going to do vocals.
Oh, nice.
on a song that her and I wrote called Beaches Be Crazy.
I love it.
And
Awesome.
we're going to do vocals on that tomorrow. I'm super excited for that. But yeah, I'm going to release a little EP. I don't know when. I'm not in a rush because I have coming around to Honky-tonk again that I'm out there touring on. But I'm going to release a little EP with beach themed songs.
Nice.
If anybody out there liked the sound sonically wooden sheriff's gun, I'm getting with Misa and with the Rishis. I got a bunch of songs that maybe don't fit the honky-tonk realm, but are story songs and singer-songwriter songs, and I'm gonna give them that same treatment so I don't know if that'll come out next year or the year after. I don't know, man. It's there's a lot of creative things going. I got plenty. I've done 4 honky-tonk albums in the last 6 years, that I'm excited about, and I'm happy to keep touring on. But as a writer, as someone who's constantly writing all sorts of things, I felt like it's time to maybe spend some time on some of those uh, uh, different genres and work on that and come, just keep plugging, man. I'm writing as much as possible. There's a lot of folks out there. Vanessa Bourne and I have been talking about doing a writing and recording a duet. So we're there's all sorts of things, but really the biggest thing is for me is I just want to keep having fun and keep stretching the creative muscle, and that's what brings me joy, that and my family. So spend more time with them and spend more time writing things that matter to me.
Yeah.
And that's what's on the agenda.
Well, one of the last times I had you on the show here, it may have been a couple of years ago, you had mentioned taking a trip out west and looking for some inspiration. These Western songs, was that part of that, or is this kind of a different deal?
Yeah, no, that was, and I did, and I had a great time out there. I didn't come up with anything, but I had a great time. I like being out. I grew up on the West Coast, and
Right.
I like being in the Great Basin in Utah and Montana, and there's just so much out there that yeah, I mean it's part of what might be coming next from me. But who knows? I mean, the big thing is I want to write the things that bring me joy, and that doesn't mean they're happy songs necessarily.
Right.
I'm a dark guy a lot of times. I tend to write really dark. Before when I first moved to town, I wrote very dark. I don't know that I had a song where someone didn't die for a long time, but so I'm just stretching as much as possible and enjoying myself, because that's really what it's all about. At this time of our lives, it's all about the making memories and having experiences that you can hold in your heart and learn from, hopefully.
Well, I tell you what, this new album is phenomenal. Hope everybody will go out and get it or download it. As you mentioned, you also got a nice body of work out there. If folks want to get a hard copy of it, or if they want to explore some of the other stuff, where do they go to find that?
The best place to get hard copies would be scottsouthworth.bandcamp.com. I'd point people to my website, but suddenly it's gone down. I don't know why. I'm talking to tech support trying to figure out what happened there. I'll say it anyway. My website is just my name, scottsouthworth.com. If it's not showing up, be patient. It'll show up here.
Well, I've been on there a couple of times that it did come up, and a couple of times it was kind of wonky and led you to other areas with some weird links. So
really, well,
yeah.
You may need to call me offline and tell me about that.
Will do. We'll definitely do that. But again, make sure you go follow Scott Southworth Music on Facebook, so you can find him there and stay plugged in, especially after the first of the year with so many cool things coming up here. My regards to Kirsty Krause when you see her tomorrow. She's a fun one to work with.
Oh, it's up now. My website's up.
Yeah.
scottsouthworth.com. Go there quickly.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how long it's going to stay up. But yes, I'll let Kirsty know that you said hello. And I'm not trying to give spoiler alerts, but there may already be T-shirts that she's made.
Oh, snap.
For Beaches Be Crazy. So yeah, man, I'm excited. It's a fun song, and it's going to be a fun little project that we're working on.
I love it. She's got the Thirsties. That's her following here. What are the Southworthians? What do we have here for the?
If I want to call my fan base anything, it's Mom. That's my fan base, right?
You and I are in the same boat there, so that's good. I totally get that.
Well, you're going to see Mama. No, you're going to see your wife's mom
Yep,
and dad,
we're
right?
headed out to the in-laws here in Hutchinson, Kansas, taking the journey, which thankfully it'll take a little less than it would have in the days of having to go horseback, but not much less.
Well,
It'll be quite a haul.
if you need to kill some time, put that wooden sheriff's gun on, because that'll might get you all the way to Hutchinson, Kansas. That's a long song, but
Might at least get us to Kansas City, and then we could switch to Frank Sinatra or something. I don't know. Well,
yeah.
we'll get there, but yeah, man. I also want to make sure that we mention, we'd be remiss if we didn't, Honky-Tonk Friday Live.
Yeah, that's coming up this Friday. I do it every Friday when I can, most of the time, on YouTube. Go to YouTube and follow Music Rose Scott 1, or just search Scott Southworth. And I do that at 7 a.m. Central Time. I do that for two reasons, Brent. One is because there's not much competition at 7 in the morning.
Right.
And the other reason is because it's lunchtime in Europe. So if you want to pop on with me, and there's always folks there from England and Australia and Finland and Germany, and you never know who you're going to see there. So it's just a fun little community of folks, and I just play whatever and visit with you and hear about what's going on in everybody's world. And then I'm also the host of Gorilla Country on Country Road TV, which is a music video show. The first season's out there right now on Country Road TV. Second season is being filmed as we speak, being taped. And it's a video show that only focuses on indie country artists that are making real country music.
I love it. And where can folks see that?
On the name of the show is Gorilla Country, not gorilla like the animal, but gorilla like the Sandinistas. We are showing all the stuff that corporate radio doesn't want to show you. Right. And it's Gorilla Country on music on Country Road TV. And so it's a Roku channel, or you can look it up on the YouTubes as well. But and then please follow me on YouTube. If you're not going to come see my lives, I got a bunch of videos and love to see the viewership on there.
But be careful, you will be entertained. So make sure you go check that out. I see Dina Woods on here in the comment section saying you can also find Scott's music at i2irecords.com. That's the letter I, the number 2, the letter I records.com. So you can catch it there. And hey to Dina, I know she was excited about Scott coming on tonight. So cool to see her on here. And
I don't know that there's a better person out there than Dina Wood, other than Brent Adams. Just good people. That's one of the other great things about country music, is the people that we get to hang out with and get to call our friends. It's a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, sir, thank you for being a blessing, man. I appreciate your friendship, and I wish you and your family the very best this Christmas here. I love you, man, and you're welcome to come on here anytime you want to. And I hope we get to cross paths in person here pretty soon. It's been too long.
I love you back. I look forward to that. And Merry Christmas to you and your family and your folks and your in-laws. And I'll send prayers up for safe travels to you and your family on Friday too.
Sure do appreciate it. And I hope everybody will stick with us here. We've got a couple more live streams before we hit the road here. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, we switch over to the ag side of things as Joey Cablin, who is with Deep Sand Technology out of Oklahoma.
Joey.
Yes, going to be my guest to discuss a new partnership in the ag world aimed at bringing affordable precision agriculture to rural America. He's a sharp guy, and they've got some really cool stuff that they're doing with autonomy and self-driving tractors here. So you're going to want to listen to that. That's really the future of all this stuff here, just like AI. It's a coming. So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern. Oh, yeah.
The robots will be coming soon, Brent.
They're on their way. I can practically hear the footsteps right now. And then myself and Steve Markwart are going to be on Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 o'clock Central for Fort Worth Musical Moments, which you can catch here on the Rural Strong Media Facebook page, also the Clarksville Creative Sound Facebook group, and the Fort Worth Musical Moments Facebook group. It's going to be our Christmas show. And Steve's brother, Mike Markworth, the producer of the great Birth and History of Western Swing documentary, is going to be along. He's going to recite a cowboy Christmas poem here that goes right along with Wooden Sheriff's Gun here. So we're going to hear that. And who knows what other horseplay we'll get into here on
maybe Buckaroo Christmas Eve. You never know.
Well, you know what? That would be a perfect opportunity. I'm glad you bring that up here. We can probably work that in here along with what else we have here. So again, we love doing that show. That show, as I mentioned in our promo video today, almost a year old here in a couple of weeks here. Wow. That show is going to be a year. We show up and do that thing every Friday. And of course, we had the episode we did last week, the recorded episode with Barry Corbin, that if you missed it, I hope you go check that out. Had a great time sitting down with Barry in Fort Worth. And also coming up next week, we're going to be taking the week off, and we're going to feature Junior Brown, the old king of the Get Steel, is going to be on here sharing some stories here and talking a bit about his career and what he has going on. So I hope you join us again this Friday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 o'clock Eastern, and then next Friday for Junior Brown. And in the meantime, just a reminder, go download episode 111 of the Tractors and Troubadours podcast at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. It's our musical gift to you, featuring a number of our friends, including Scott, performing either Christmas classics or, in the case of Wooden Sheriff's Guns, original songs destined to become Christmas classics. So we hope you make that a part of your Christmas week soundtrack. Again, you can find that at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcast. And as you're making those last-minute holiday preparations, be sure to join us on Rural Strong Radio. It's our 24/7 streaming radio station, also found at ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app for your mobile device. There you're going to find our ag programming, as well as the best in traditional country music mixed in with a little bluegrass, southern rock, western swing, inspirational music, and through Christmas, your country Christmas favorites. Again, the place to find that, Rural Strong Radio, is ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app. Well, again, special thank you to Scott Southworth for his time. Go check him out, scottsouthworth.com. Do it quick just in case. And then be back here again tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern, for Joey Cablin. For now, for Scott Southworth, it's Brent Adams. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on down the road. Have a great day, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.